He was born a prince of Macedon. At 20, he became king. By 30, he had carved an empire stretching from Greece to India, Alexander the Great. Taught by Aristotle, forged by his warrior king father, he was destined for greatness. He crushed rebellion with fire and sword, then marched east to conquer Persia. At Issus, at Gaugamela, he faced armies many times his size and broke them. But glory came with a price. Endless wars, distant lands, and a king who would never return home. What makes a man unforgettable? Is it the empire he builds, the battles he wins, or the legends whispered long after his death? Alexander of Macedon, born in a small kingdom on the edge of the Greek world, would rise to shake the very foundations of history. By the time of his death, at only 32 years old, he had carved one of the largest empires ever seen, stretching from Greece to India. Alexander's story is not only about victories, it is about ambition without limits, obsession that devoured him, and a legacy that outlived empires. Stay with me, because Alexander's life asks a question as relevant today as 2,300 years ago. How far would you go to be remembered forever? At 13 years old, Alexander received the greatest gift a king's son could ask for: a teacher who was a legend himself, Aristotle. Aristotle taught him logic, medicine, politics, and the Greek ideals of heroism and honor. The lessons that moved Alexander most came from Homer's Iliad. He saw in Achilles a reflection of himself, young, ambitious, burning for eternal glory. "I will not just imitate Achilles," he swore. "I will surpass him. My deeds will echo louder than the myths." A wild horse was brought to King Philip, fierce, impossible to ride. While others laughed, Alexander watched closely. He saw the horse feared its own shadow. He turned it toward the sun. It calmed, and he mounted it. His father said, "My boy, find a kingdom big enough for your ambitions. Macedonia is too small for you." In the year 336 BCE, King Philip II was assassinated. The kingdom trembled. Alexander was 20. He executed rivals, crushed rebellions, proved Philip's son was even more dangerous. Beyond the Aegean Sea lay the mighty Persian Empire, vast, rich, unstoppable. To challenge it seemed madness, but Alexander believed it was destiny. In spring of 334 before our era, with 40,000 men, he crossed the Hellespont into Asia. At the Granicus River, Persian cavalry waited. Alexander led his men through the water into a storm of arrows and spears. His helmet was struck. He almost died. Yet his courage turned the tide. The Persians broke and fled. Victory was his. Asia Minor now lay open before him. In the year 333 before our era, Alexander faced King Darius of Persia, an army twice his size. Persian chariots thundered across the field. Arrows darkened the sky. In chaos, Alexander charged at Darius himself. Darius fled. The most powerful ruler in the world ran from a man barely 23. After Issus, Alexander marched south. Tyre fell after 7 months of siege. Then he entered Egypt, welcomed as a liberator. At Siwa Oasis, priests declared him the son of Zeus Ammon. He was no longer merely a king, he was divine. He founded a city that would bear his name, Alexandria, a beacon of culture and knowledge for centuries. With each victory, people treated him not as a man, but as a living god. And he began to believe it. He demanded rituals of worship, once reserved for the divine. He called himself the son of Zeus. But belief in one's divinity breeds danger. Some bowed, others whispered. Was he still a man? Or had ambition turned him into a tyrant? In the year 331 before our era, on the plain of Gaugamela, Darius gathered the greatest army ever seen, hundreds of thousands strong. Alexander's forces numbered barely 50,000. The night before battle, his camp was silent. His men slept soundly. When dawn came, the earth shook. Persian chariots raced forward. Alexander's men opened their ranks. The chariots passed harmlessly. Alexander led a cavalry wedge straight at Darius. Again, the great king fled. The Persian Empire collapsed in a single day. The Persian Empire had fallen. But Alexander's hunger did not fade. He turned his gaze east, beyond deserts and mountains, to India. His army crossed burning sands and icy peaks, losing men to thirst and snow. Yet they followed him still. In the year 326 before our era, at the Hydaspes River, Alexander faced King Porus of India and war elephants. The battle raged under torrential rain. Elephants charged, soldiers crushed beneath their feet. Alexander adapted. His cavalry attacked the flanks. Discipline won the day. Porus was defeated. Yet Alexander honored him as a king. As Alexander dreamed of the world's edge, his men reached their limit. At the Hyphasis River, they refused to march farther. He begged them, promised glory and riches, but they stayed silent. At last, he wept and turned back. The return through the Gedrosian desert was a nightmare. Burning sand, endless thirst. Thousands died. Alexander walked beside his men, refusing water until they had some. In the year 323 BCE, Alexander returned to Babylon. He was 32, undefeated, unstoppable. He planned new campaigns, Arabia, Africa. But fate struck. Fever gripped him. He weakened day by day. As soldiers passed to see him one last time, he could no longer speak, only raised his hand in farewell. Within days, he was gone. Was it illness or poison? Historians still debate. Some say malaria, others whisper betrayal. The truth remains unknown, and perhaps that mystery only deepened his legend. After his death, no heir could hold the empire. His generals, the Diadochi, carved it apart. Wars raged for decades. Yet Greek culture spread east. Philosophy, language, art, and architecture. Alexander wanted to be greater than Achilles, greater than Hercules, and in many ways he was. He changed the world's map, inspired Rome, and shaped leaders from Caesar to Napoleon. He proved one man's vision could redraw the world, but also that ambition builds and destroys. Greatness is never given, it is taken. One man, in 12 short years, changed history forever. Alexander died young, but his name still echoes across millennia.